So my people, I'm a Kenyan, a tribeless Kenyan, Mawaudian, and I have, I am a champion of free speech, champion of freedom, justice, and equality. And also, I fight for the restoration of humanity, the lost humanity. So here again, come here because I still have a dream. And even though I have lived to see the dream turn into a nightmare, I still believe that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Many people give up just at the time when they are about to get victory, just when they are about to get a breakthrough. So I believe it has come for us Africans to come together and have a debate, a candid debate, a candid conversation about Africa and how we are governed and how we live in our country and our purpose in life, and also fight for a place among the nations of the world. Like now, there is a an anti-French sentiment going on in West African countries because of the coup that happened in Niger or Niger, as we call it here. And I believe, to me, that's a good thing. And also, I'm saying here in our country, East African countries, and all those other countries that were colonized by the British, we must have an anti-British sentiment. Because I believe our economy, our country, and everything that we do is still controlled from the West. It's still controlled by the West. In fact, the problems that we have in Africa is because, simply because of external influence. That is what we got. We have got to fight. Some big thinker once said that if they are not about me and you, they are not about how to address the problem of poverty, which is the curse of this nation, and which is a problem that we must address immediately if this nation is to survive its own falling. And so, I believe those talks are about the rich. They will continue keeping power, about how they will keep that power so as to protect their ill-gotten wealth. That's why every time conscious people come out to the street to protest, they are arrested by the police, they are harassed by the police, because the system is so set to protect the rich from the poor. It's the same system that used to colonize our people, the same system that humiliated our fathers. In fact, nothing really changed. We still have the same system intact, the colonial system. It will never die. It will never, the colonialists never went away. The colonialists went out through the front door, but he came back through the back door. There was a vice president of Zambia, I think from 1978 to 1980, who said that if we do not handle our independence well, then the colonialists will come back as an investor. That is what happened in Africa. Many of the businesses here are owned by foreign nations, so-called multinational companies. Look at the issue of the Kericho tea farms. The issue was trading the other day. Those farms are still owned by multinational companies. The Unilever, James Finlay, I don't remember the other company. But these are foreign companies. They still own those lands. And you see the harassment, the humiliation that workers are going through in that place. Women are forced to sleep with the managers there, so we have to get jobs, we have to keep jobs. I mean that is the humiliation Africans are still going on in their own country, in our own land. And the problem is that we are afraid to come out and speak out. We are afraid to come out and face our oppressors. So sad, so very sad that we have come to accept our oppression. We have become complicit to our own oppression. There's nothing as dangerous in the world as a people who seem to have decided to be a fate. That is what seems that like we have done. In fact, this generation is so bright to our history, so bright to the stories of the history of our ancestors. And in fact, these are the things that we must tell our people. These are the things that we must know. What happened and what did not happen, and why we are the way we are today. Like the question of poverty. Why are the majority of the people who are in this country, 60 years, my friends, after the so-called independence, majority of our people are still left to languish around the island of poverty, in the midst of the sea of material affluence and prosperity. 60 years after the so-called independence, majority of our people are still harangued by a corroding sense of fear and a nagging sense of nobodiness. 60 years after independence, the land that our fathers were fighting for, we still don't have it. It's still owned by the so-called Raded gentry, by the so-called big families, the Kenyattas, the Mois, the Kibakis, and all those big families. In fact, to me, these people are white men in black skin. I mean, they are not my people. They do not reset my interests. African leaders are mere puppets and stooges of the West. They do not serve the interests of the young people, but rather they serve the interests of their own imperial masters. So my people, we must come out. We must come out and educate our people, teach our people, exhort our people, enlighten our people, and bring our people out of mental slavery. The worst form of oppression is the oppression of the mind. The worst form of poverty is the poverty of the mind. Somebody, some great thinker, once said that the most potent weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. My people, if we do not come out and free our minds, we are going to be in for a very rough time. We are going to be in this situation for so long that, and it's not right anyway. It's not right. We have the brains, we have the minds, and we know the truth now. So we must come out and speak this truth. God gave us brains, my people, and it will be an insult to the great God to forego the use of our brains. Africans must wake up. Africa must wake up. There was another video that was trending the other day about a woman in Congo. She was crying and saying, how is it that we are so poor? We are dying of poverty and poverty-related issues, while we are standing on a ground which holds a lot of mineral deposits. I mean, we are at our feet. There is a lot of mineral deposits. Like the story of Congo, they have so many minerals. The country has a lot of minerals. In fact, much of the diamonds that are sold in the world market, come from Africa, come from Congo. But these people are poor. Africa is always in conflict. Africa is always fighting and killing one another. How long, my people, shall we fight one another? Don't we see that in the end, it will only leave bitterness and pain? Why are we fighting? I believe these wars that are fought in Africa, they are engineered by foreign powers, by external influence. These are the things that we must face. These are the things that we must pick out. These are the things that we must resist. Our fathers resisted. So now it is our time to come out and resist. Our fathers were wise men, unlike us today. And when they realized that the colonialist was going nowhere, they did what was best at the time. They took up arms and entered into the forest and waged a bloody war against colonialism. Many of them died. Many of them suffered. And still to date, justice has never been done. To date, the people who took over power in 1963 are the people who are on the side of the colonialists, the so-called collaborators. They're the people who took power. They are the people who continue in the system of oppression. In fact, as soon as the colonialists left, these people got into power and continued with the plunder, with the theft of Africa and African resources. It's so sad and so very sad. We have killed all our sectors that would have made our people rich and be able to have a decent life. Look at sugar. Like now, the issue of sugar. You're buying a packet of sugar at 250 cities. This is mad. This is crazy. How can we buy a kilo of sugar at 250 cities? Yet we are farmers. Our people, our parents back there in the countryside or in the villages, they sweat every day. They toil every day trying to make ends meet. I mean, they plant sugarcane. Yes, still, this sector has been destroyed because some few cartels have got to bring sugar from outside, and these people are in government. These people are protected by the government. They bring in sugar, and so they killed our sugar industry. They have killed our farmers. What are we doing to ourselves, to our own people? If you think about sugar, every household uses sugar. Every cup of tea must have sugar. So you can imagine the quantity of sugar that is used in the country, only this country. You can also look at the issue of there's something called industrial sugar, the one that makes sodas, cakes, and biscuits, and all that. That's a lot of sugar. So I believe that sugar farmers could be rich people. The same with coffee, the same with tea sector. We have killed our farmers. When I was a kid, I was told that agriculture is the backbone of our country's economy. But what happened? Cartels, corruption has killed these sectors. Corruption has made us slaves in our own country. That is what we are. We are all slaves, but we are not ready to admit that because of, I don't know, pride, because of division, tribal divisions. And now it's time for us to come and look at the issue clearly. And we must bring all conscious people together and think together and brainstorm together and say, enough is enough. This is enough. It's too much. We cannot continue living like this. It is not tenable in the long run. Something is going to give. Something is going to change. I mean, we must believe that we can bring change. You know, we have been taught to believe that we cannot be able to bring change in our lifetime, to see change in our lifetime. That's a lie that the system has taught to us. We must destroy all these lies that we've been taught. We must open our minds and our brains and pull back the curtain and open our eyes and expose all the lies of the system. The system is a system of capitalism. Capitalism is a predatory system in its very nature and mode of operation. Capitalism is a system that takes necessities from the masses to give luxuries to the classes. In fact, capitalism is responsible for all the suffering that we are seeing around us. So sad, so very sad that we have created a system that cherishes money more than people. And when property rights and profit motives are considered more important than people, then the giant triplets of materialism, capitalism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered. My people, we must change. We must change. Mahatma Gandhi said that the world has got enough for every man's need, but not enough for every man's greed. So we are poor because of corruption. We are suffering because of corruption. And it's so sad that we have normalized corruption in this country. It's so sad. But we should be very angry and very bitter. We have normalized corruption in this country. People are stealing billions of money. And these are the people we glorify. These are the people we worship. These are the people we elect to power. I think there's something very wrong with our thinking, with our mindset. And to change this country, we have got to change our mindset. To change this country, we have got to change our attitude. I say to my people, do not expect that an election will change this country. It never will. It will never happen. In fact, an election is a ploy by the system to keep us enslaved, to keep the status quo in power for longer. Because somebody says you cannot expect illiterate people to elect literate people to power. It can never happen. So what has got to come first? What must come first is that we must teach our people the truth, educate, exhort, enlighten our people, and bring our people out of mental slavery. And truth is the foundation of the society. And where there's no truth, there can be no trust. And where there's no trust, there can be no society. So we don't have any society. We are a nation that loves violence. We love the taste of violence so much. I mean, people are dying everywhere, and we don't care. Killing each other. A man wakes up every day and butchers his family, his wife, his children, and we take these things as normal. I mean, nobody is coming out to condemn these things. Nobody is coming to say this is wrong. This should not be happening. So I believe time has come for us to come and expose these issues and expose these matters. And to do this, we have got to create a critical mass that will become the people who will stand up and come out to the streets and fill the streets in anger, in rage, and throw away this system from power. We cannot persevere any longer. Our perseverance is running, our patience is running out, and in fact, it should run out for every one of us. I say to my people, so many times, though they have refused to reason, the more I have tried to enlighten them, the more I have tried to tell them, the more they have tried, they have refused to reason. But I say to my people that for this country to become free, tribalism must die. Tribalism is a disease of the mind. Tribalism is a state of the mind. Tribalism is a ploy which politicians use to perpetuate themselves in power. The ruling political elites have historically used tribalism to divide and conquer, but now we must become wise and less the poor by politicians. Yes, we must resist tribalism. I say to the generation that we must become the generation that will dig the grave, or that must dig the grave, where the evil of tribalism and tribal division will be entombed. Yes, we must destroy tribalism. Tribalism, as I said, is a disease of the mind. And so we must come to see that our minds are sick. We are all sick. In fact, we are dead. We are dead. We are only alive physically, but spiritually, we are dead. Yo, this girl, this young girl, the other day, her name is Masita in Washington, who confronted a governor, a senator, and a deputy governor. This was Senator Madago, Governor B, and I don't know the other deputy governor is called Batoto, I don't know the name, I don't remember the name well. But kudos to Masita. What she did was very, very, very great. Must say, whatever you are a great person. These are the kind of people that we need in Kenya. These are the kind of youth that we need in this country. People who will confront our leaders. People who will confront the system. What Masita said was very right. We have refused, or we have become a people who have refused to face our leaders and tell them to their face, and tell them that we are tired, and tell them that we are tired of seeing a justice system that only works when it is against the poor, but when it is against the rich, the rich do not get caught by the wheels of justice. I mean, the wheels of justice in this country turn so slowly. People in power are getting away with murder, with corruption, with many crimes. But a chicken thief, upon a snatcher here in the streets, a young man who steals, maybe, or he has been forced to steal because of the poverty that we have created for our people, will be killed by the police. This is very absurd. We must stop this. We must see everybody as a human being. We must work for a society where every man, the dignity of every man will be respected. I don't know. I'm waiting for that day when all Kenyans we come together and say we are tired. When all Africans we come together and say we cannot continue living with this system of neocolonialism, which has refused to address the grievances of our people, and they are not going to address them in the near future unless we force them to do so, unless we come out in anger. I say to my people, I hope that they will understand. They have refused to understand. The more I have tried to make them understand, the more foolish they became, or they have become. But I say to my people that the only way out for this country is a revolution of the mind, a revolution of ideas, a revolution of values. A true revolution of values will cause us to question the fairness and justice of many of our past and present policies. A true revolution of values will cause us to look uneasily at the glaring contrast between wealth and poverty, and we shall say with a righteous anger that this is not right. A true revolution of values will make us see that the gap between the poor and the rich is getting wider every day. And I say to my people that the rich never give up their privilege without a fight. So we must make our people understand that freedom is never given voluntarily by the oppressor, but it must be demanded by the oppressed. That change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but it comes through persistent work and tireless efforts of men and women who are willing to be co-workers with God. Every step towards the goal of justice